Hello everybody. Have you ever put something off and put it off and put it off until one day you get up and you say, I think maybe I put it off too long? Well, this is kind of my day. I have been putting a job off and putting a job off so long that it's just about ready to retch up and smack me in the face. What am I talking about? I think you all probably know by just watching me with my walk. I'm talking about that. It has been now, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks since it broke down, and I have negated to do a single thing to it other than come down here and squirt it with a degreaser and use the water hose all over it. But I look out here and my yard is up past my ankles and I am needing this old boy. So today I'm going to try to drag the mower deck out from under it without starting it and doing all the things that I normally have to do with it, and then I'll push it back in underneath a cover so that I can start working in there and getting that motor unhooked and lifted up and turned around so that I can get to the oil seals and see what we can do about getting it fixed. So I'll be bringing you along from time to time to show you my progress, and we will be back in a little while, and hopefully by the middle of the day I'll have some answers. Have you ever had one of those days where you just get started and things start not going right? I started working on this thing, and all of a sudden I felt something hit my head, and it was my coffee cup, and a perfectly good cup of coffee just poured down all over me. Okay, enough of the rant. Let's get back to work. I am not liking what I am coming across here. I was inside here disconnecting the drive shaft, and while doing it, the whole back end of this engine was moving up and down like it's just not even connected. So maybe in some ways this is a good thing that we're working on this, because if we've had a connection problem or a vibration problem or something, then I might be able to get it all taken care of while I'm working on it. So man, it's not one thing. We're going to deal with at least 4 more. Okay, take a little break here and get back at it. Well, it's been a few days. I'll show you here where we're at as far as this is concerned. Took some doing to find the right parts. I'll turn this around here and show you exactly what I came up with, and give you an idea of what we're going to be going and doing here. Be right back. Got, the motor pulled up and turned sideways from the rest of it, and what I came up with the other day was when I pulled this coil off, which was, now that wasn't part of it, but it mounts in here like that. When I pulled that coil off, the oil seal fell off with it. This was the old oil seal, fits back in there, right there, and it just fell off. It doesn't Don't know why, but it did. Now, I had a heck of a time trying to find one of these. That's one of the reasons that we were a day or two, or taking a couple of days here, in order to get the part that we needed, because every number that they had, if you can tell, that doesn't even really hardly fit, but every part number that they had showed up for a different gentleman that I was working with. He saw that there was an oil seal kit, because what I was getting, all the numbers are leading up to an oil seal this size, and if you look, there's no way that's going to fit. That is not the right part. But in the kit, there it is. And it matches. It's a little bit bigger, but that means it's going to fit a little bit tighter, I think. Now, it's going to be tight getting in there. That just showed it to me right there. But I'm going to do like I saw. I'm going to try to find me a piece of PVC pipe that you use to beat this into there gently. And I also saw where use a little bit of Loctite to keep it in there. And we'll be ready to go. Putting it back together. I went to put that new seal in. I'd be doggone if it wasn't just, it was just a hair too big. So, for grins and giggles, and because I learned a lot on how to take this thing apart, I went ahead and I put a little Loctite around the edges and I stuck the old one back in. I know. You don't need to tell me that that's not the way to do it, because I know it isn't. But I need to get this yard mowed, and if I can get that to work, then I have to. So we're going to go ahead and continue to put this together. I'll keep you updated. We'll be back in a little bit. Well, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I put all the shrouding around it. And back in there, if you recall, was where I saw that oil leaking. And with the shrouding, I won't be able to see that. But the way I look at it is, if it starts leaking, I'll see it coming down out of the back, or down onto the ground. So right now, what I've got to do is take the end of my drive shaft, get that good and clean, and the same way with the other side and the balls and everything that's on the drive shaft, and get it all cleaned up, put it back together, and then give it a good greasing so that it's ready to go when I get the new brakes put on the back end, which will be next. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that before I start it, because it'll just get me motivated to get that job done a little bit faster. Okay, be back in a little bit. I had it running, just shut it off, got new brakes on the rear end, but now right there you can see it. We have a leak, and it is one of these flex hoses. So I have to find out now what those flex hoses that go back to the oil filter, what they run. It's not going to keep me from mowing the yard. I'm not going to put the shroud back on it, of course, until that's done. But, you know, I don't need the shroud to put the mower deck underneath it and mow. But I've had it running now for half an hour. With that oil leak, that's the only one I could find. So it looks like maybe the one out of the back of the motor is taken care of. Now, when I had the tires off, the rear tires off, and replacing the brakes back there, I went ahead and tightened up all the transaxle bolts and everything, and it looks like with that tightened up, and with all of the motor mounts were all loose, and in the motor mount plate it was loose. So with everything tightened up and synced down, it's reacting pretty good. And the brakes, they definitely will stop now. So okay, I don't know if I'm going to end it here or if I'm just going to go ahead and wait until I get those and to show you the completed job. Well, I took a couple days and did some researching, and you will never ever believe some of the things that I came up with. Now, the last time I was on here, I showed you the two lines that were going here and the one line that was leaking. And I went to do some research on what, getting at least one of those ordered. And if I got it through Cub, it would have cost for that line almost $150. $150. Well, I took that line down to our local hydraulic line shop, and I showed it to him. I explained it to him exactly what the motor was and what it was for and how it goes to the oil filter. And he took it back and he grinded on it and he worked on it, and he came back out and he handed me this. It's a brand new line. He used the same tips, tested it, and he charged me $8.43. $150 from Cub Cadet, $8.43. You can see and you can understand why I went this direction. So we're going to get this put on. It's been raining, so I really can't mow right now, but I can work on the pool while it's dried up. I'm going to get this put on. I may even go ahead with a trust in my heart about putting the shrouding and all that back on it. Plan on getting that yard mowed finally. And like I said, I'm sure you can tell it is in desperate need of that. So we'll be back when I get it all taken care of and see what we can get accomplished. Well, it did it. $8.42 fix compared to a $250 fix for the same thing. Worked. Not a leak one, and the yard got mowed. This kind of goes to show you, you don't always have to follow the rules. You can always check out options. I saved $242 basically by doing that. But just remember, this is Ted Homer. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe, give us thumbs up. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your local lawn keeper. We'll catch you the next time. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye-bye.